Doctors don't look shocked because you lived past 60. They look shocked when your body refuses to behave like it's old, when blood markers improve instead of decline, when muscles respond instead of weaken, when the brain stays curious. Instead of quiet, science has to pause and ask an uncomfortable question. What if aging isn't the countdown we were taught to expect, but a dialogue we're still actively shaping every single day? Doctors are often surprised when they see how powerfully the body responds to something as simple as daily movement because culturally we have been taught to believe that decline is inevitable and irreversible. Yet the human body does not operate on belief, it operates on signals. Movement is one of the clearest signals we can give. When you move slowly, deliberately, and consistently, you are not trying to become younger. You are reminding the body that it is still required. Each step, each stretch, each gentle contraction sends information through nerves, muscles, and blood vessels saying, I am still here, and I still need you to function. At the cellular level, movement activates life. Muscle fibers that are used even lightly release chemical messengers that travel through the bloodstream, reducing chronic inflammation that silently damages tissues with age. Blood flow improves, carrying oxygen and nutrients to cells that would otherwise become stagnant and inefficient. Mitochondria, the tiny structures responsible for energy production, increase both in number and efficiency when movement is repeated daily. This is not about intensity. It is about consistency. The body responds far more to what is repeated than to what is extreme. Joints, too, tell a story when they are moved. Cartilage has no direct blood supply, so it depends entirely on motion to absorb nutrients and release waste. Without movement, joints stiffen not because they are old, but because they are undernourished. Gentle daily motion acts like a pump, bathing these tissues in nourishment. Over time, pain often decreases, not because damage magically disappears, but because the joint environment becomes healthier and less inflamed. What makes this habit especially powerful after 60 is that movement reshapes the nervous system. Balance improves because the brain relearns how to communicate with muscles and inner ear sensors. Reaction time sharpens. Confidence grows. Many falls, often blamed on age, are actually the result of disuse. When the body stops practicing movement, it forgets how to protect itself. When movement returns, so does resilience. But there is something even deeper happening beneath the measurable benefits. Movement changes identity. When a person moves daily, even in small ways, the body no longer receives the message of retirement. Biology is deeply sensitive to relevance. Systems that are used are maintained. Systems that are ignored are quietly dismantled. This is not cruelty, it is efficiency. Movement tells the body it still has a role to play in the world. Doctors are shocked, not because walking, stretching, or light strength work are revolutionary ideas, but because they consistently see people regain strength, stability, and vitality long after they were told decline was unavoidable. Daily movement is not exercise as punishment, it is a conversation with the body, one that says, with calm persistence, that life is still in motion, and therefore worth sustaining. Doctors often expect improvement to come from adding something new, a medication, a supplement, a complicated plan. What shocks them about the second habit is that it works by subtracting rather than adding. It is the quiet practice of eating with rhythm and awareness, allowing the body time to rest between meals. After 60, the digestive and metabolic systems become less forgiving, not because they are broken, but because they are tired of constant demand. Modern eating patterns keep insulin elevated, digestion active and repair mechanisms suppressed. When food arrives without pause, the body never enters recovery mode. Inside every cell exists a remarkable housekeeping process that depends on absence, not abundance. When the body experiences a clear break between meals, it shifts from storage to repair. Damaged proteins are dismantled, dysfunctional cellular parts are recycled, and energy is redirected toward maintenance rather than digestion. Scientists observe this process repeatedly in populations known for longevity. yet it remains surprisingly underused in daily life. The body does not need more food to heal, it needs time to use what it already has. This habit is not about eating less in a punitive way. It is about eating deliberately and then allowing digestion to finish its work. When meals are spaced and unhurried, blood sugar becomes more stable. The pancreas is no longer forced into constant response. Insulin sensitivity improves, which reduces fat accumulation around organs and lowers the risk of metabolic disease. Inflammation, a major driver of aging-related decline, begins to calm because hormonal systems are no longer perpetually overstimulated. Digestive tract itself responds with relief. The gut lining repairs microscopic damage that would otherwise allow inflammatory molecules to enter the bloodstream. Beneficial bacteria regain balance, improving nutrient absorption and immune signaling. Many people notice clearer thinking, reduced bloating, and steadier energy, signs that the body is no longer fighting its own schedule, but beyond physiology. This habit changes one's relationship with food. Eating with rhythm restores respect for hunger and satiety, signals that often fade after decades of distraction and stress. When eating slows down, the brain has time to register fullness, reducing overeating without effort. Food becomes nourishment. Again, not emotional anesthesia or background noise. Doctors are often surprised by how rapidly blood markers improve when this pattern is adopted. Cholesterol ratios shift. Blood pressure eases. Even joint pain and fatigue diminish as systemic inflammation drops. These changes do not occur because of a specific diet trend, but because the body is finally given space to regulate itself. There is also a quiet psychological shift. Allowing pauses between meals teaches patience and trust in the body's capacity to endure mild discomfort without harm. This trust reduces stress hormones that accelerate aging at a cellular level. The body interprets calm intervals as safety, and safety allows repair. This second habit works because it honors a biological truth, often overlooked. Healing does not happen when the body is constantly busy. It happens in the spaces between demands. By restoring rhythm to eating, the body is invited back into balance. And aging becomes less of a battle and more of a coordinated adaptation. Doctors often underestimate sleep until they witness what happens when it is finally restored. After 60, sleep is no longer just a pause between days. It becomes an active biological process that determines how well the body repairs itself. Many people accept poor sleep as an unavoidable consequence of aging. Yet the body does not lose its need for deep rest. It becomes more dependent on it. When sleep is fragmented or shallow, repair systems are interrupted, and the effects quietly accumulate in every organ. During deep sleep, the brain enters a state of intense maintenance. Metabolic waste products produced during waking hours are flushed away, reducing the burden that contributes to memory loss and cognitive decline. Neural connections formed during the day are either strengthened or released, allowing the brain to remain flexible rather than rigid. Doctors are often surprised to see improvements in focus, mood, and recall once sleep depth improves, even without other interventions. The brain, it turns out, is remarkably willing to recover when given the chance. The hormonal system is equally sensitive to sleep quality. Growth-related hormones, responsible for tissue repair, muscle maintenance, and bone strength, are released primarily during deep sleep stages. When sleep is shortened or disrupted, these hormones decline, accelerating frailty and slowing healing. At the same time, stress hormones remain elevated, increasing blood pressure and promoting inflammation. Restorative sleep recalibrates this balance, shifting the body from defense to repair. The immune system also does much of its training during sleep. Immune cells communicate, adapt, and refine their responses, preparing the body to recognize and neutralize threats. Chronic sleep deprivation weakens this process, making infections harder to fight and inflammation harder to resolve. Doctors are often startled when markers of immune health improve simply by addressing sleep, without changes in medication. Sleep also influences metabolism in subtle but powerful ways. Poor sleep disrupts appetite-regulating hormones, increasing cravings for quick energy while reducing the sensation of fullness. Over time, this contributes to weight gain and insulin resistance. When sleep becomes consistent and deep, These hormonal signals stabilize, and the body begins to manage energy more efficiently. Blood sugar levels improve, and fatigue decreases, not because of willpower, but because biology is back in rhythm. Beyond these measurable effects lies something quieter but profound. Sleep restores a sense of safety. When the nervous system experiences consistent, uninterrupted rest, it stops operating in constant alert mode. Muscles relax more fully. Heart rate variability improves, indicating resilience. Pain perception often decreases because the brain is no longer interpreting the world as a continuous threat. Doctors are often surprised not by the complexity of sleep science, but by how foundational sleep truly is. It is not a passive state where nothing happens. It is a carefully orchestrated period.